This video will show the basics about how to punctuate and format dialogue. So right now in this document I have some dialogue between two characters, Jesse and Rachel. Now the first thing I want you to notice is that right now this is one large paragraph. That's incorrect. Anytime a new character begins speaking or I switch speakers, I need to create a new paragraph. So Jesse said good morning. That's going to be its own paragraph. I'm going to indent. Rachel responds. It says good morning, said Rachel. So that needs to be a new paragraph as well. Did you have a good weekend? Jesse asked. So now I've switched back to Jesse. So once again, I need a new paragraph. It was all right. I got to go to Six Flags, which I would usually really enjoy, but I forgot Fright Fest is going on right now. I ended up getting scared, Rachel responded. Once again, Rachel's talking all through here, so I need a new paragraph because she's saying that. Then it says, Jesse thought, wow, I didn't know Rachel was easily frightened. We're going on to Jesse's thoughts, so we're switching speakers, new idea, new paragraph. There we go. Okay, so now I've got my paragraph set up. Now I need to go back and punctuate so it's clear who is saying what. So if I look at the first one, Jesse said, I need a comma after said. That lets my reader know the dialogue is starting. And then good morning needs to be in quotation marks. That way it's clear that that's exactly what he's saying. This is his sentence. It's not the beginning of my sentence, but it is the beginning of his sentence, the thing that he says. So I need to capitalize good and good morning. Then it says good morning, Rachel said Rachel. So I'm going to put quotation marks around good morning once again. Right here where my cursor is, that's where a period would go if this was the end of Rachel's sentence. But it's not the end of my sentence, so I'm going to put a comma there to replace the period and then put quotation marks. Did you have a good weekend? Jesse asked. So once again, Jesse is saying, did you have a good weekend? So I need to put quotation marks around that. Here's where his sentence ends. It says Jesse asked, and I can look at what he says, did you have a good weekend, until it's a question. So this time it needs to end with a question mark. Then I'm going to put my quotation marks at the end so it's clear that this is the part Jesse says right here. It was all right. I got to go to Six Flags, which I would usually really enjoy, but I forgot Fright Fest is going on right now. I ended up getting scared, Rachel responded. This is the speech tag. This shows you who's talking. So I know that everything else in this paragraph is what Rachel said, so it needs to go in quotation marks. Now, scared, that's the last thing she's saying. That's where her period would go. So I'm going to put a comma there. Responded doesn't need to be capitalized. So that's how it should be formatted. And then lastly, it says, Jesse thought, wow, I didn't know Rachel was easily frightened. Now this time it's Jesse's thought. So it doesn't need to go in quotation marks. And it also, but it is a thought. So I'm going to put a comma after thought. This is the beginning of his thought, so I'm going to capitalize it, but I'm not going to put it in quotation marks. He's not saying it out loud. I only put it in quotation marks if he's saying it out loud. What I'm going to do instead to show it's a thought is I'm going to put it in italics. So I'm going to push this little I up here to make it in the slanty letters, which we call italics. That makes it clear to my reader that something is different here. This is Jesse's thought, but it's not something he's saying out loud. So those are the basics of how to punctuate dialogue. Don't forget that the dialogue itself, what people are saying, goes in quotation marks. You need commas to offset your speech tags. You should have a speech tag for each piece of dialogue. And anytime you switch speakers, you need to begin a new paragraph.